G'day and welcome to my Blender 2.6 tutorials. This is the last pipe joint in the tutorial that can be found on Wikibooks under the heading of Blender Noob to Pro Pipe Joints. You can find a link to the tutorial in the description below. But unfortunately you won't be able to follow it with Blender 2.6 and I'll show you why. Here's the tutorial here. It's a T-joint with smaller diameter, there it is, and it says we're going to be using retop to make our joint. Unfortunately I could not work out what retop was, so I thought I'd go have a look at the manual. And it was here that I realised these tutorials are made for Blender 2.4. So I figured I may as well do a Google search and see how I could get a similar result using 2.6. And the Blender 2.6 manual seemed to be the best place for this. And here it tells me about mesh snapping and the shrink wrap modifier. So now I've got the information I needed, it's time to go and make my pipe. I'm going to be adding this pipe to my existing pipe joints file. You can see here I do already have one made, but I'm going to start another one from scratch. So select all the objects, hit M and throw it onto another layer. Now layer 1 is nice and clean. Now I've just installed Blender 2.62, so I need to set some of my preferences. I want to set zoom to cursor and rotate around object and align to view. Unfortunately align to view is gone. It was there with 2.61 but it isn't here anymore. Now Shift C to center your cursor and Shift A, add a cylinder. We want 8 vertices and a depth of 4 and untick cap ends. Thankfully I still have the option of align into view down here in the mesh tools. So hit A, deselect your cylinder, Shift A, add a circle. You want 6 vertices and you want to tick align to view. Then we're going to turn our snap button on. I did want to select snap to edge, but I accidentally selected closest, but it seemed to have done the job anyway. We're going to be snapping to that front edge, so pull your circle out and align it with that front edge until it snaps like this. Next you want to resize it to the size you want your extruded pipe to be. Then go to modifiers and add a shrink wrap modifier. Go to wireframe mode and scale your shape so that it's aligned to your grid. This will make it easy to resize later on. The shape will slightly change when we target our object. So now go over to your modifier and target your cylinder and take note of the shape when you target it, set the target. See, it's pulled in a little bit, so now we want to scale it along the x-axis using the grid reference that we set it to before. And apply. Next we want to tab into edit mode and press A to select all, and we're going to apply a loop cut. Well, actually we're going to apply 2 loop cuts. So click the loop cut button and set it to center and scroll your mouse wheel to make 2. Now A to deselect and click on vertex select. Press Z to go into solid mode and then select the 4 vertices you see me selecting and press F. That creates a face, and keep doing that all the way around our shape. Making sure you only select 4 vertices at a time. Click on face select mode so you can see all the faces you created. And then click on edge select mode and select the edge in the middle of our shape. Hit X and delete. And now you can see we've got a hole. Next, you want to select all the vertices that surround that hole. So go into vertex select mode and shift click to select all of those vertices. Go into side view, press E, you're going to extrude along the Y axis -1. And now we're going to clean our pipe up in much the same way as we did all the other pipes that we made. So go into a side view, make sure your pivot point set to median, go into wire view, hit B to box select and scale along the Y axis to 0. And there's our pipe. Now we want to go back into object mode, click on smooth and apply our modifiers. We want to add a subdivision surface modifier, view to 4, render to 4. And then we'll add our solidify modifier to thicken up the walls. And that will be set to 0.05. Now turn the view on your subdivision modifier back down to 0 so we can see our vertices and edges. Go into edit mode and select all the vertices around the base of our extruded piece. Shift E and 0.5. And there it is, our finished pipe. Now press numpad 0 to go into camera view, adjust your camera or your pipe to a view that you like and do a quick render so you can see it. Now that was in too much shadow for my liking, so I've gone to top mode and dragged my light across. Yeah, that looks a little better. Now I've gone back into camera mode, Shift F to move my camera around, and there's the finished pipe. So now I'm going to jump to layer 10 and select all of my previous pipes, press M and move them to layer 1. Now I will move my new pipe around a little bit so it's not superimposed on top of another pipe. And do a render. And I only just noticed I didn't actually add a material to that pipe. But if you watched the other tutorials, you should know how to do that. And that's the end of the pipe joints tutorials. Hope they helped. Thanks for watching.